Jamie, I imagine that felt good to get back out there, just get some minutes out there on the pitch.
It did, yeah. On a personal level, of course, you wanna get out, get your minutes in as soon as you can. Really, when you're back training and back fit, the quicker you get them minutes and get that match fitness back up, the happier you'll be. Ultimately, we wanted to win the game, and coming away, obviously with the 0-0, it's not the best result we could have asked for. But like I said, personally, I'm happy, and I think once we look back on that later down the line in the season, it could be a valuable point.
It looked difficult. It was difficult to watch. What was it like to play in, particularly coming on as a sub? Was it pretty difficult to get up and running?
Yeah, I think it was just a little bit of everything, to be honest. Stuff you can't control, like the wind, the rain, and look, I know it's the same for both teams. You can't use them as excuses. You've got the pitch, which isn't playing ideal at the minute, but again, both teams have got to do it. So yeah, I think coming on into them conditions, it's quite fast and furious. It's quite end to end, bit of a basketball game. No one really taking control, but ultimately, I think we've restricted them to very, very little. And I felt personally like we were the ones that would go on and score towards the end. But a clean sheet and a point, I think we'll look back and we'll be happy with it later down the line.
On a personal note, the reaction that you got from when you came on and the tannoy read out your name and that reaction from the crowd must have been nice.
It's always nice, yeah. You sort of expect to get forgotten about, really, which is no one's fault. It's just the way it is. The lads that are in the team, they're the ones that are deserving of the praise, deserving of the credit for the performances and the results. And if you're not in the team, ultimately you are out of sight. And it is nice to be recognised for coming back, and fans appreciating you for anything makes a massive difference. So for me personally, seeing that today was gives you that little edge to spur you on, really.
James Wilson's talked as well about when you're out of the team, how the rest of the squad, even though you might not be around the place, still keep in touch and make you feel part of it. How big a part is that in recovering from an injury mentally, just as much as physically?
Huge, because like I said, you sort of half expect that when you're not in the team, you're just going to get forgotten about, and you wouldn't really argue if that was the case. And it just hasn't been the case at all here. I think, like you said, Wilson said that. I think you speak to any of the other boys early in the season who had injuries, and that's the case as well. The staff do it, the lads do it, and you're still part of the group. And I think that's so important, because I think I touched on last week, going to away games and supporting the lads and stuff like that. You might be next up, and whether it's an injury, suspension, not being picked, you're out the team 1 week, but next week you could come on and score a last minute goal to get us 3 points and get us into the playoffs, into the top 3, whatever. So everyone is so important, and I think as long as we keep drumming that message home to everyone, that's where success comes from, I think.
It's so tightly packed in and around that top 7 now. I think you're now only 4 points off, but you're a place further down. What's the feeling like amongst the squad is when you look at that table, if you look at it, to think that there's only so near, but yet so far still, really?
Do you know what? I know people always say it, and I know the manager says it as well, but we actually don't speak about the table like as lads, and I understand supporters will do that, and everybody will do that, because ultimately you are in the game to win and succeed and get promotion. But we don't speak about that. We speak about the next game, and yeah, we know roughly where we are in the league and what we need to do. But if we take care of ourselves day to day, come the weekends, come all the games, ultimately you will end up in a higher position than not. So we've got games in hand. We're picking up results. We know there's improvement, especially on today. So as long as we keep doing that, like I said, things will take care of themselves.
You had a bit of time up front with Cian Harrott, who's very much at the younger stage of his career. When you're a senior professional in that regard, what do you try to pass on to him and the other younger players around you that they can then use in their own game?
Just get him to do all my running. No, it's nice, because you look back and I sort of I still feel young in myself, but then when you get boys like that who come in, you realise, look, I'm probably 10 years older than some of them, and you have to sort of use the strengths that you've got that maybe they haven't got yet, which, as I know, obviously being a more experienced centre forward now, you just can't have them as a younger striker. You can work on them, and you will eventually get them. Just the know-how of the game, the experience and stuff like that. You just won't have that as a younger striker, and that's no one's fault. You just get that through time. But the younger boys have all sorts of ability that obviously I now don't have. And I think it's all about complementing each other, to be honest. using, like I said, working towards people's strengths, and bouncing off one another, whether that be at the minute me, Kean, Wills, Ryan, David Moo when he comes on there. Everyone's different. And I think that variety is the key to getting results, really.
And just finally then, now you're back, I bet you wish there was a game on Tuesday. The irony of you having a free week now before your next game.
Do you know what? I said that in there then, like, you want to get back in and training and playing and stuff, but I think the bigger picture is it's probably good to get some rest, especially for me, to not try and rush it back. As much as you want to do that, it can obviously hinder you sometimes. So I think taking the rest, recovering right, training properly, ready to go again next week will benefit me massively.